Welcome to episode 56 of Dragon's Tome, the chronological dissection of Dragon Magazine. We're on to issue 56, coincidentally, and all that happens. And my name's Rob.
I'm Jack.
I'm Chopper.
It's December 81. We got a Phil Foglio picture called The Critic. I guess the dragon didn't like the snowman, so he burned it.
Snow Dragon?
Yep. It's a classic Foglio. Anything to say about
Snow Dragon?
That Snow Dragon?
I don't know if he did it on purpose or what, because the look on his face is like, whoops.
Yeah. But he called it The Critic, so that's the name of the art. The piece is The Critic, so. Yeah. Still $3. There is a top secret module in this one. This one is all about bards. Yay. Yeah. That might be an issue. And, yeah, there you go.
Who doesn't like a good bard?
This guy. Bards are stupid. Yeah, that's about it. We're going to scroll all the way down to Dragon Rumbles. I'll get through it. Pat's smacking his mic.
Sorry.
This one has a reader's survey that they said they probably won't listen to anyways. And he responds to a letter in here for some reason, because I assume the guy complained about content. And as always, the response is, not everything's for everyone. It's just like, they should just have that stamped on the cover.
That's true.
It's still a problem today, but, not everything is for you.
No.
You can enjoy things outside of what might be the target demographic, and you can explore and do other things. But at the end of the day, this magazine has to appeal to a broad audience, and unfortunately, if you're not into certain things,
yeah, I agree.
Maybe the next issue might have that thing on. You don't bash on the articles about bards, and then the next episode when it's barbarians, and you're like, oh yeah, this is what it's supposed to be.
I love me some barbarians.
Yeah, then you can't
hate me some bards.
I think
then you can't.
You got to appreciate the variety. That's the thing. Like, everything is obviously not everything's like, I don't care about Top Secret, but I'm happy there's a module in here for people who like Top Secret. Like, I wouldn't get mad at. Like this issue, if I bought this issue, I'd be a little upset because there was nothing in it for me. But even then,
yes,
you get to. I never complained about Dragon Magazine. I read cover to cover, even the articles I didn't care about back in the day. Like, it was just what you did. It never even occurred to me to complain about the content.
Yes.
So it just proves, even back then, there was complainers. So, who are we going to start with? Who wants to start? I think. Both of you look so excited. It's going to be Pat, because Jack's drinking. Smooth,
okay.
Jack. That was smooth.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and get this over with. So let's just go to 7.
7. The Bards.
Yeah.
This took up a lot of the magazine, so I've decided just to...
You're biting the bullet?
To tackle it. Yeah, but so... I do agree with the guy who wrote this article, though, Jeff Goals, is that the Bard in the Player's Handbook was not the greatest.
Well, you couldn't be him at the first level, right? You had to.
No, you had to be two other things, I think, before you could be a bard, and then you transition to the bard. And what I didn't get about that is like, so let's say I think it was a thief. You had to be a thief until level 5. You're a thief, and all of a sudden now you're being a really good thief. How do you all of a sudden say, okay, I want to stop stealing and play some music?
Yeah, you finally are getting to the point where it's actually good to be a thief, and you give up on it and start at 0 again with a bard.
You can finally start contributing to your party. The fighter's been looking at you sideways for about 6 adventures. Even the magic user's starting to pull his own weight, and you're like, yes. Now you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to start over again.
Start over again at level 1.
And be a guy who just annoys the crew with songs
and charms. But this version of the Bard is not as horrible. Because you get to start from level 1, and it gives you a set of arms and armor that you can use, your saving throws, everything you need to become a bard of this version. And like I said, I didn't understand why you had to be, and I think it was a thief. I think it was a thief.
Yeah, it was.
You had to be a thief before you could become a bard. It didn't make no sense to me.
No, especially
they've definitely changed it. You can be a bard.
It still doesn't. 20, 30 years now, it still doesn't make any sense to me. So
yeah,
I'm glad to see that it's back. At least,
yeah. Like I by second edition, I'm pretty sure this is how they did bards. Like there was no, I don't think, requirements. So they've quickly realized, hey, people want to play a bard, and they don't want to have to wait forever. Because back then, getting to 5th level wasn't easy. Like it's not like it wasn't just given to you.
Unless you D&D cheated,
Well.
But also, like, depending on the table, sometimes people were, like, going up levels like crazy. So, I don't know why. I'm not anti-bard. I'm not. If I wanted to play one, it would be as a bard, starting as a bard. There's a huge, like, throughout history, minstrels and troubadours, they're like sound... historical.
Are those levels? Minstrel is and troubadours. Troubadour is a 5th level bard, and a minstrel is a 6th level bard.
See, they are like famously they existed, and through artworks and stuff. I'm not anti-bard. Would it be my thing? No, but I can imagine some theater kid.
Even Monty Python had a bard. Remember, Sir Robin? Sir Robin had his bard with him.
Yeah,
brave Sir Robin.
I watched that last year, and it still holds up. I had forgotten some things and was surprised by some things, but I still enjoyed. Enjoyed it.
There's a role playing game out right now, actually on Kickstarter. If you're watching this currently, for that, it's not a role playing game. I forget they have this funny name for it, but it's Monty Python and Holy Grail set, and it's got all crazy dice, like it's like D16s and stuff, and
Jesus.
And your GM can get killed and replaced with another GM. So you have a little face on your GM board that changes. It's pretty funny. But enough of current events. But yes.
So I thought this was a nice little article. I mean, it took a lot up of the magazine, and but if you wanted to play a bard, and like Jack, I wasn't my favorite player class, and it still isn't. But this is a better version of it than how it originally intended, for sure. And much like the monk one we did 2 episodes ago.
Mm. But this, I think for sure they take into account, and I don't think they use this exactly for the real bard class, but eventually it gets changed out.
Yeah.
Jack, what is your first one?
Well, we're gonna just hop up to page 6 on the PDF. And I'm not gonna do the whole out on a limb. I'm gonna ask us to just avert our gaze over to the heraldry hints. Mm. Now, this is a reference to the heraldry article in Past magazine. It went into quite a bit of detail. It was a very historical kind of. It was interesting, that article in itself. This person who wrote it, let me get his name, John Hobson.
He's actually from the town just over the road from me.
Well, go hunt him down.
But he brings up the discussion of heraldry minutia aside. There's a small tidbit, a small fact that I wonder if it is true. I don't know if it is. Let's go here. It says the ermine haired that would go on a shield. A lot of people thought was a ermine, which I believe is a kind of weasel.
Yeah, ferret kind of thing. Yeah.
But he says due to a translation error that it was actually squirrel, and that through a process of funny happenstance, Cinderella did not wear glass slippers. That would have been, and I'm not going to try and describe in French what glass slipper means as opposed to squirrel slipper. His assumption is that Cinderella wore squirrel fur slippers.
That changes the story.
So that does change the story quite a bit. So I don't know if that's true or not, but for whatever reason, I went. I didn't Snopes it or anything like that, nor did I even give it a butt.
You took it at face value and chuckled about it.
You're gonna have
moved on.
You're gonna have to seance old Disney and see what he wanted to do.
Well, Cinderella's older than Disney.
I may even repeat it without verifying, which I know is can be quite harmful in some instances. But for a silly little thing about squirrel fur slippers, yeah,
that's funny. There you go. I don't have much here, but I do have one about. It's on page 65. Or 60, it's not 65, 60, it's on actually 67, yes. It's Dawn of the Dead. It's like a board game.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And so reading it, it's like, okay, whatever, it's a board game. But this Tony Watson guy, he reviews a game, but he's never seen the movie. So, and he really complains about eating humans and says the concept is macabre. It's like, ew. It's Dawn of the freaking Dead.
It's zombies, you moron. Of course it's going to be macabre.
It's so funny that he complains about that in the game. It's like, hello? But how dare you play this game that you complain about zombies eating humans? But sounds like a fun game. You get to have M16s and shoot people. And he's like, oh, it's so novel. It's in a mall. Yeah, watch the movie. It's novel. It's in a mall.
Yeah. It's a Verhoeven-esque satire about consumerism.
Yes,
I think
it's a pre-Verhoeven. Romero predates Verhoeven by. But yes, it's beautiful.
Yes, I said esque as in a reference, but
yes,
yeah, it's
a classic movie,
and it was
Tony Watson. You don't deserve to watch it.
Do you think like 6 years later he's like, hey, he gets his VHS out, and he's like, Dawn of the Dead, why does that sound familiar? And he's watching it, and then he starts just clenching. Oh my
must
God!
Look like an idiot in that.
I was such an idiot. Yeah.
It's an SBI game, $6. Hey Pat, pick up Dawn of the Dead while you're picking up the other universe game.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sure it's a chit game. These early board games, I'm sure, are not good. Like, we're so spoiled by how good board games are.
It's actually it's $6. You tried to one up. You tried to highball me.
How much did I say?
$7.
Oh, it's $6.
I think he said 6, but either way, Rob is not trying to sell you it. He does not have a copy that he's trying to get one over on.
I'm just trying to force you to buy whatever we talk about on the show.
I suspect that if you could find one of these, it might be a little more expensive. Than
once again, it's one of those things where you have something that crosses over two different things. It's a board game and a movie franchise. Once again, this would be super expensive, I guarantee, because all the Dawn of the Dead collectors will want it, and all the classic board game collectors will want it. So, yeah, if it exists at all anymore, would be expensive. I am curious about these SPI games and all these smaller companies, how many they actually made. Because it's, you think that, nowadays we're so used to like tens of thousands, but there might be hundreds out there,
I would wager that the initial print one was probably 1,000.
Yeah, so, and that, I doubt it went past that, so there might be only 1,000 copies, and how many got destroyed by some kid just fucking it up, so.
Sure, well, I do know that
there's not many left.
Some people try to stack the boxes in the stores. They try to put some stuff in the very back so later on you'll have it, when it's gone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, just keep them. Nowadays they do that. I wonder if they did that back then. because the idea of collector's items back then as board games, I wonder if maybe because I'm sure even at this point the original like chainmail and stuff was probably getting expensive. In the original D&D, I bet even then collectors were probably starting to. Well, they even talk about the old back issues of Dragon, how expensive they got. So it is beginning. The collector's mentality about this is starting. So maybe they are starting to hoard. Who's next? Is it Pat again, right?
Me. So where am I at? So let's go to page 20.
20. Ooh, we got some protection.
Some more Source Scroll. So now we're back to more Greyhawk stuff. This one is now covering some of the more evil baronies and how do I want to call it? Ayus is where all the bad wizards come from.
Bad wizard.
In the Greyhawk world. And so this is a little expansion on the northern, the Flaness is what they call that area.
I think Gygax picked up a copy of the Necronomicon that just got published and was like, yeah, I'm going to add those circles into this game.
So I think they kind of matched these magical pentagrams with the sorcerer and evil baronies of Greyhawk to kind of feed you a little bit more stuff.
I do like the idea of Wolf Nomads, though. That's a great name. I want my next band to be called the Wolf Nomads.
Wolf Nomads.
If you were trying to avoid the satanic panic and
this is not the way to do it.
Want to, if you see little Timothy,
I don't know if we hit satanic panic yet.
Well, this is the beginning of it right here. We've seen that. This is the little match. This starts it.
What year is it that guy goes missing?
Oh, that's already gone.
He's already been missing. Yeah, that was
already
like 2
missing
years
and dead.
ago.
Yeah, that was like 79. But that wasn't satanic panic. That was just the beginning of associating it with being stupid. But
mental illness. That's when they said, it's going to make you. It's going to. Full-on satanic panic doesn't really happen until like who was it? One of the serial killers. Was it Richard Ramirez? I don't know. A serial killer happened. A D&D, and there was something else. Was it backmasking in music? And then all of a sudden, it was like this perfect storm of church groups and.
Yeah, I'm trying to see an actual date. They just say 1980s, so I'm curious what the actual time where it became big. But it's starting anyways. There you go. Anything else to say about the Sorcerer's Scroll, Patrick?
No, I just, it was just another more fleshing out, more meat for the Greyhawk world for those who loved it or played it or looking to bring it back.
Yeah,
because, you had invited me to that D&D old guys.
Oh, cool.
And so so those guys there are a lot of guys posting first edition, looking for first edition people, and this would be it right here. If you're looking
they'd be
to
playing Greyhawk for sure.
Yeah.
Forgotten Realms is definitely second edition, I would say. It becomes big.
Oh, yeah.
And then Dragonlance. I never played Dragonlance, but we'll get into it.
We didn't play Dragonlance either, but we all enjoyed it.
Yeah, the books.
I just think that Forgotten Realms just kind of, Ed Greenwood put together a really good comprehensive world, and we all flocked to it.
I think, Rob, you'd be shocked at how much Dragonlance you actually played that was just folded into into the regular, because I remember the Kinder, and I remember I remember mechanics from Dragonlance that just was wholesale stolen and put into the...
Yeah, that's true, too. We weren't sticklers for playing exactly the rules anyway, so... Jack, do you have any more?
It was a stew that we played.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see here.
Well, we played original D&D stuff thrown in there, too. For sure.
Oh, yeah, we had no problem doing that. I don't have anything article-wise, so...
I don't either. Patrick, do you have any more articles?
I do, and it's very, very short.
Excellent.
And it's just me just ranting about this thing.
Oh, excellent. I do love a good rant.
62.
62. Okay.
Ooh,
The dragon's
shroom.
bestiary. And all my notes say is stupid name for a beast that looks like a wolf.
Yeah, and
This
it's
guy
dumb
obviously
too.
didn't. He wasn't in on the shroom as what we know shrooms were, because he didn't live through the summer of love. This guy. It's Louis Pulsifer, but it just says
it's
Lou.
our good friend Lou. That's his new name now, Lou.
He's cool because he's talking about shrooms. He's Lou.
He's Lou Pulsifer now because he's got 4 articles in Dragon Magazine, so he can be Lou now. But this
why would you call it
just a werewolf?
It doesn't make sense, yeah.
Almost. And why would you call this thing a shroom?
I don't know.
It's like a werebear or a werewolf in sense. Even reading it, and like just
it's a small bear, really.
It wasn't enough to there wasn't enough going on to separate it from like any old monster. There was nothing going on, and the picture that they accompanied with it did not help. I looked at this and was like, ugh. Okay.
It says here that they hold their victims for ransoms or they eat them later if they become bored or hungry. I mean, just it's all over the place with these things, and like if
the name is really offensive. That's really
exactly.
If you call this like a wolf man or something, sure, okay. Yeah. Or a bear man, I don't know. But, yeah, it doesn't make sense.
If you called it like the Grizzler.
Yeah, it's something. But this, yeah, why would you call it a shroom? I assume that mushrooms even back then were called shrooms. Like, I have no doubt.
Actually, I do have a note here that says best part is that in the very first sentence it gives you the plural of them, which is still shroom.
Shroom, yeah.
You have 1 shroom, 2 shroom.
There's a whole clan of shroom coming.
Like if someone goes, run for your life, there's a shroom coming.
We'd all just crack up.
Oh, come on.
I'd be like, oh, it's a mushroom man? It's some kind of, it's like a toadstool, like
I'd break out some melted butter. All right, where's he at?
Yeah.
And
I do love me some mushrooms.
It doesn't make sense.
So, I just don't know.
Like,
Louis,
what was he thinking? What was he thinking? Louis Pulsifer, if you're listening, what were you thinking?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that he had agreed to write a monster, and the deadline had come up, and they came in and said, "Hey, remember you said he was like," and he was like, "Oh yeah, I'm just putting the final touches on it," and then.
Well, I ain't gonna lie. I was told that things in the TSR headquarters was very, very smoky.
Oh, maybe they're on shrooms at the time when they thought of this guy.
So maybe there was a little bit of smoke going on when they came to name this thing, and there was a lot of giggling involved.
They laughed their asses off.
Or he put it in and forgot to put a name on it, so they just named it.
Yeah. And I'll name it later.
Why the fuck they call it a shroom?
That's so funny.
It's a shroom.
And then it went to print. No.
And for the next 6 months, everyone called him, "Hey, Lou Shroom Pulsifer."
This was my time.
Yep. I was going to get into the next monster manual with this creature, and you called him a shroom.
This thing did not make the Monsters Compendium. That is for sure.
Not this name. Maybe something similar. Pat, any more articles?
No, that was the last one because it said all I just wrote was stupid name.
It is. Jack, do you have a ad?
I do. Page 18, if you wanted to...
That's one of my ads.
Oh, no.
Traps.
Yes, I had this.
Yeah, I bought this too. I remember this because I wanted more traps.
I remember how evil this book was.
Yes.
Unflinchingly evil. It was tongue-in-cheek at times. There was parts of it that you knew was for the sake of comedy, but also there was some just really nasty character ending
Yeah, it was like everything was like death at the end. But I remember the illustrations because all the traps were like illustrated how they would work. They weren't just like, oh, you fall into this. It's like, no, there's pulleys, there's this, there's that. Like it was like, oh, they really thought these out.
Now, I don't know which edition I had because there must have been multiples.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
I don't know if it's the first, but I think the last page said, thanks for reading. By the way, all the pages of this book were coated in poison, and you've only got an hour to live, so pass this book on to someone else to...
That's funny.
And I was like, that is so awesome.
That's pretty funny. Yeah, I think this is the beginning of the people just making random stuff for not even for D&D, just like game-agnostic books. I remember there was like one that had all different weapons that our friend Rich had that was amazing. It had like every single weapon ever made, like swords and stuff. It was great. And these kind of trap books, and I remember there was a bunch of them that we'd always pick them up too. Like everybody always had these random books just laying around of strange things, and yeah, it was always fun. Pat, do you have any ads?
I do. Let's go to page dos.
2.
And for your non-English speaking friends, that's dos.
That's Spanish for 2.
A duo.
And our little full page Grenadier model ad.
Do you have this box set?
I do.
I thought you did. I thought I recognized.
And I have that dragon one too. Built.
I thought you were like, I have this old man too.
I do. I have him in my closet.
He's part of the horde now.
But this is one Grenadier models. They're showing the gold box sets that they made.
Yeah, they were classic. These days.
So I think this is where Grenadier models really takes off ahead of.
And look how much better these models. First of all, look how good this ad is, and second of all, look how good these miniatures are compared to what we've seen.
Yeah.
Like this is where Grenadier leaps and bounds ahead of everybody else. And it's actually painted well, like you'd see this and be like, oh, that's a modern miniature.
Yes.
Although they did get some guy and dressed him up in old makeup.
Yeah, they gave him some really horrible wrinkles.
And I can't even try to put him to a porn situation. He's just kind of standing there.
We can't do that again.
We can't do that.
That got graphic. It got bad. For the backdrop that they've got there, the makeup they've got him in, and the whole ad, I would say it's just the right amount of taking it seriously with the right amount of not taking tongue in cheek. Like you look at it and you go, oh, that's a good looking ad. That's got all this stuff, but it also has the feeling of, oh, we don't. We know our target audience. Our target audience is playing a game and they want to have fun and they want to.
What people don't know is this is actually the Grenadier offices. They are in a dungeon. You didn't know that.
They're in the dungeon in Lake Geneva.
His name is Stephen Smith, and they just went down there and went, hey.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. We don't see below the table where he's chained to the wall and made to design new miniatures at all times. Behind him is his best boy that he used to employ, but they forgot to feed him, so he's just a skull now. Poor guy.
Just a skeleton head.
That's his best friend, though. That's poor Steve's best friend right behind him.
Yeah.
But, no, Grenadier medals, obviously, not today because I don't think they're around anymore, but it's still pretty impressive.
Yes.
Are they around anymore? I guess not, eh?
Grenadier?
Did they transition to just being Warhammer? Like
I don't know.
I think it might be. I think that's because were they? I don't know. We know where Alpartha went. They became Ironwind, but
yes,
I'm not sure where Grenadier went, or if they're even still around. Maybe they are. I have an ad that we already talked about it, but it's first full color ad for this is the Fiend Folio on page 84.
That's my last one.
Monsters from England, the Fiend Folio Tome. Hey, they stole our name.
This is where it says TSR Hobbies UK Limited.
Yeah, see it. That's where they. So if you're in Cambridge, you know where to look. collection of new and fearsome monsters to add to your AD&D gaming system. 120 pages, fully illustrated, and Githyanki on the cover, famous Githyanki. Nobody would know what a Githyanki was unless it was on the Fiendfolio cover.
No. What was the Githyanki's enemy? The Gith...
Yeah.
Githzaki or something like that. Githzone.
Oh, I thought this was a joke.
No.
I thought it was like a...
Yeah.
It's a Gith pulley, not a Yankee. Yeah. We had this in our collection for sure. We've played monsters from this, and it we never thought of it as a poor product. So there you go.
No, I still had fond memories of it when I saw when we had discussed last week. I think it was we discussed Fiendfolio, and that's an iconic. Like, look at that, the art on that cover. That's leaps and bounds above what else was coming out. Like that's dope art.
Yeah, the AD&D art was the beginning of like, wow, this is D&D. Like, it gets famous. Obviously, like, second edition art really is really good. That's like fully painted art and really nice art. But this is the D&D art that you start to remember. But yeah. Any other ads or articles, people?
No, but to continue with the Grenadier models, it looks like in '96, Strata Libri, a distributor out of Italy, bought and purchased the molds and master sculpts from Grenadier models.
So they were eaten up like all the rest.
So they might still be out there.
Just like Ironwind, probably, but in Italy.
Yeah.
Jack, you got anything
Imagine
else?
being Grenadier, and you're the name of...
Well, Grenadier models itself went defunct in 1996. So.
And then you get consumed by a company called Nacho Libre. Like that's
Nacho Libre.
How the mighty have fallen.
Yes.
Yeah. Metal miniatures kind of went the way of the Dodo in the 90s, I would think. Hard plastic became the big thing, and
as they should. Like that, there's no reason.
All those kind of companies kind of became.
I still like the metal miniatures a little bit.
Yeah, but it's niche. It's not the regular, right? Everything's now it's resin or hard plastic or 3D printed. So
Pat, you're a bit of a mini pervert. I think you enjoy the masochism of.
Well, I will point out if you are going,
he likes being spanked.
Yeah.
If you're going to be
a miniature producer, the metal ones are by far the cheapest way to go because those molds last forever.
And you can do it smaller scale too, yeah.
Yeah.
Resin's right up there though, but it doesn't last as long for sure.
No, you only get like 25 prints out of the resin mold.
Right now, it's 3D printing. Like not to move into the future. We're not in 81 anymore, but I think with COcast and that kind of stuff, it's going to be a lot of just mass-produced boutique miniatures almost because
the downside to COcast is it's proprietary, so
well, yeah, of course
you won't get very far proprietary.
If you tried to tell someone this Don Turnbull about the fact that we were doing a podcast highlighting his work, and he wouldn't. It would take a while for him to wrap his head around that, and then you said, "Oh yeah," and that's only 40 years later. Yeah, we could just download a copy of the creatures that are in your book.
Yeah,
and my desktop here, right to my right, I could start printing one off and have a miniature, and in a few hours be painting it up. He would.
Yeah, there's literally a guy.
It would blow his mind.
There was a guy who was doing every single Monster Manual creature for free. You can just download them all. So it's there. So I don't know if you did Fiendfolio too, but it's pretty amazing. Anyways, enough of the future. We're still in 81 here, people. Like, share, subscribe. Go to our affiliate link, please. We need more than $1 to feed our families. And other than that, we'll be back next week with another exciting episode of Dragon Magazine. We're going in 82 next week.
Oh, that's right. This is December.
Yeah.
I'll be in charge of this one, so it'll be wild.
This is around the time when I am starting to go full ham on D&D at this point.
Oh.
In real life.
In Real's life, back in the day.
In Real's life.
Well, Ivan Rob,
I'm Jack.
And I'm Chopper.
we'll see you there. Back in time.
Gotta go back in time.
Thank you.
Don't need money. Don't need fame. Don't need no credit card
to ride this train.
I'm going to just let go. Okay.